Hola, 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 como esta? It's your boy, the Hokage of Ocean and Leaves, the Commander of the Sky Regiment, the King of the Pirates, the Commissioner of CCG, the Principal of the Hero Academy, the Captain Commander of the Tier 13, Leader of the Hishin Unit, General of the Railroad Army, Kakashi Hatake, Jiraiya Sensei, Vince Smoke Sanji, Husband of Renkiku, Odin Sama, Black Picasso, Nathaniel Cole Jackson. I'm here, as always, with Rowan or Enoch, Mugen, and Jin, the ghost of Onigashima, the artist currently known as Samurai.
What's up? How y'all doing, man? We about to get this One Piece podcast in, man.
Uno Piece. We got One Piece chapter 1034 and 1035. What better chapters than the chapters titled Sanji vs. Queen and Zoro vs. King, the wings of our pirate king, our future pirate king.
It's crazy, too, because we get the backstory for King. We get King's backstory a little bit.
Yes.
It kind of mirrors Zoro and Sanji's backstory, because it's like they're superseding them now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy to get that parallel. I'm really liking how Oda's doing this.
The parallel is very strong coming off today's chapter. First, you got MVPs for these types of chapters?
Well, let's see.
Let's go two MVPs.
I'm not even gonna lie. 1034 was... Okay, 1035 I got an MVP for sure.
Same.
I mean, Zoro, come on, who else? Who else
but Roar? No.
Who else but Zoro? And 1034, this is so basic, but Sanji for 1034. Sanji was cooking.
Yeah, I mean,
he was cooking this man, Queen. Oh my God, he was cooking this boy.
Damn, mad puns intended.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was cooking him though, man. And even though him and I think Zoro and King have more relation to each other in terms of just their upbringings and kind of what they represent. Because Queen and Sanji are kind of the same too. Because Queen is a scientist, but he kind of represents everything that Sanji's against, which is Germa 66, the science experiments. So I just realized that right now. Actually, I didn't even realize that. But so I guess they both kind of parallels of each other.
I'm trying to think if parallel is the right word. I think parallel is the accurate word for King and Zoro. Sanji and Queen have an interesting relationship going on. Like what you said, Queen in 1034 literally represents the science of Germa 66, which is haunting Sanji at this point of his life. And unfortunately for Sanji, is a huge part of his life and upbringing. Yeah. But Queen is kind of the not parallel, but
he's the antithesis,
the opposite of the antithesis. Thank you. The antithesis of that, where he more than fully embraces the science and advancements of Germa 66, which Sanji is trying his best to sprint from.
He doesn't want. He fucking broke his suit because he hated it so much. He was fuck. I don't want to deal with that.
But Queen respects it so much that his whole force of encouragement in this fight with Sanji is to prove himself against the science of Germa 66. That's how much he actually respects it. Whereas Sanji wants to throw away and never forget about it, never about it again. Yeah. For Queen, this means everything for him to prove that he might be at a level where his science can beat Germa 66, which is what he sees this whole fight as.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's so funny that he sees it that way, because Sanji's just yeah, I couldn't care less. Oh, you want to beat Germa 66? I don't care. That's not my fam. I don't really care. Do you?
Bro, it's also funny because Sanji actually ends up, when he has beat Queen, Sanji ends up being the one to overpower the science of Germa 66, because Queen has all of that inside of himself, and Sanji beats it, which is what Queen's his whole goal is, to overpower that, maybe underlining meaning by beating Sanji, who is literally a direct product of Germa 66 engineering. But also Queen kind of is too, and Sanji ends up beating him, which is Queen's whole goal, and Sanji's whole goal is to run away from that whole thing.
Which is interesting, because Sanji at this point, he threw it away, but I would argue that one of the reasons he beat Queen was because of the fact that his genes unlocked, and he became invulnerable a little bit to certain damage.
Yep.
So it's he wants to throw it away, but at the same time, it's basically one of the reasons that he actually won that fight with Queen. It's kind of poetic in that way.
It haunts him.
It's
it's poetic, but it's also fucking so depressing.
It is. But like, it's like, I think what Oda's trying to say is that maybe Sanji, like, you can't throw away your past. Your past is your past, and you have to accept it. And Sanji's like biological unlocking is kind of a way for him to start on that journey of accepting that, because his sister is not Reiji. Yeah, Reiji is not like the other brothers. I feel like she is kind of a goal for him, like a middle way point for him, because she is not like them. She doesn't like how they do things necessarily. So like Sanji is on the other end of the spectrum where he just doesn't like any of it. But I feel like he has to get to that point where he accepts that, yes, this is my family, and you know, they did things I don't agree with, but this is my family, and that's my past. Like, I have to accept them, and that's part of why he won. And it's like, I think that's gonna be something that we see in the future, is him actually coming to terms with the fact that, you know, yes, I am German 66, and no, that doesn't say anything about me as a person. That's just my past. That's just who I am as a person, and I can't change that.
You have to embrace who you are.
Yeah, like he can't change that. So like, this is a good arc, man.
It's interesting seeing a main character like Sanji enter like a humongous personal self-development arc this late in the game. Whereas most of the self-development arcs there, the season playing in like, you know, I mean, early East Blue days or some shit like that. Whereas like we're pretty obviously in the in-game One Piece right now, and he's just kind of entering this whole, I guess, not self-identification, but figure out who he is and how to cope with who he is, and how to, you know what I mean, find a balance between the reality of his bloodline and his body and where he comes from and the person he wants to be.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge journey that's ahead of him, and he's not like, he's down that path, but not far down that path, because he's still like tortured with this whole shit. Like every single goal that he has, like he wanted to have a higher bounty than Zoro, and he got it, but the only reason why he got it is because people figured out his last name.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wanted to be stronger, and he's stronger. He got it. He got strong enough to beat a second commander of a Yonko, but the only reason why is because he has his exoskeleton from the Vinsmokes. It's like, fuck, he's haunted by this shit, and he's still in a point where he's like accepting it kind of because he has to.
Yeah.
To like, you know, get Luffy where he has to be, and to kind of literally not die, but he's still like running from that for good reason.
Yeah,
but still,
like if he had a choice, I would believe if he had a choice with the exoskeleton thing, he wouldn't have taken that. That's what I believe right now in the story, and that's what I think is trying to be like taught to him, is that like, bro, like you can't run from your past. Like you can't. You can try, but there are certain things that are gonna stick forever, and you have to like learn how to accept that or learn how to deal with that. Because Germa 66, as much as we hate it, as much as he hates it, I hate it too. Like they suck. Like they really suck. A lot of them suck. Like the only one who doesn't suck is his sister. Like she's all right.
Yeah, and his dead mom.
And his dead mom. She was like actually really nice, a really nice person. But like he has to move past his cooking. He has to move past his hobbies. He has to actually get into who he is as a person and what made him who he is. And I think that's what we're gonna see. Like that's what we're seeing right now with Zoro too and Sanji too. Like we're seeing they're getting past the superfluous like backstory that they had, where it was just like, oh yeah, Zoro was just, you know, he was just this guy from this town and they taught swordsman and he had this person who did this. It was like, no, it's actually much deeper than that. Like it's actually much deeper than that, and you have to actually go into that. If you want to be someone who's on the level of like a pirate king subordinate, you have to be someone who's willing to grapple with your past and like, you know, move forward after you kind of maybe not accept it, but at least deal with it, you know?
You gotta know it at the very least. But like even then, you're right about both that being a path for both Zoro and Sanji, but it still differs in a pretty drastic way. Whereas Zoro's I guess the shit he has to know about his past to maybe go stronger and progress in his own arc is more about just actual ignorance to what was going on and then the history behind where he's from. Whereas Sanji's is from fucking, I want to delete this shit from my memory because of trauma from his history. Like Zoro's whole thing about learning more about Shimosuke Island, he just literally just didn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't learn shit.
He just didn't.
And even learn shit, I was like, oh, this is a cool thing to learn. Whereas like Sanji, he's forced to learn shit, but it's like everything he learns is like, yo, this is fucking painful.
This is terrible. I don't want to know.
Everything I'm learning makes me want to kill myself. Sanji can't wait. Zero's like, yo, this is cool. I get to learn shit.
Like, oh, so that Swordmaster was actually from here? Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
that makes sense.
How fucking interesting.
Wow.
I'm into history.
Yeah,
now.
he's like, I didn't even pay attention in history class, but all right, yeah, I'll pay attention now.
Yeah.
Sanji's just
This is neat.
it's just depressed. It's just depressed.
Oh, dog, spiraling.
But
I feel for the boy. Right, the overhaul thing in One Piece, this is cool. This is where I gotta give credit to Oda, because we're 1,034 chapters into the story.
yeah,
And this thing that Sanji's, like I'm saying, Sanji's relatively to the whole story, Sanji's kind of just entering this personal development arc.
Yeah.
And throughout all the characters in the story, throughout all the arcs in the story, this is kind of the first time we've seen something like this, where someone had to grapple with like their upbringing and who they are to this level.
yeah.
Like, there's a lot of characters in this series who've been through a lot of shit. I can't think of anybody who's seen like this type of development from.
No, because I feel like most of the Straw Hats got their development like when they were introduced. Like Nami got her development where she had to kind of accept who she was and what she was about in her past in the Arlong arc.
And disconnect herself from the Arlong shit. Yeah.
And then Usopp had to accept who he was. I don't remember the island name, but like he had to do that to kind of become part of the crew.
Serp Village.
Yeah, Surf Village, and he had to do that. And then Chopper, of course, same thing. And then Robin, well, she had the whole Marineford kind of arc to accept that, you know, she wanted to be something different from what she...
That she actually wanted like her own life to live ahead. Which the closest I could think of is Robin, but still Robin's is still different in her own thing. Because Robin's is more of like, I feel like Robin's whole thing with realizing like, yo, she wants to actually forge forward in this life and let go of the quote unquote guilt from her past. But the guilt from her past is more of like survivor's guilt.
Yes.
I feel like Robin felt like she was coasting through life on borrowed time, and like she didn't really even want to live and she didn't really deserve to live because her whole family, her whole island didn't live.
Yeah, and she had to deal with that. And
she had to like actually like, let's say like, yo, I want to live for me, and actually like, you know what I mean, not coast through life, but actually like, I want to live.
And not because I can do this or that, but just because I personally want to live, because there are people who care for me now, and it's like they made me see that.
Not because people could use me.
That's why I love Luffy, man. Luffy's just, man, I would love to be friends with Luffy, man. He would just make me feel so good about myself, bro. I feel like he makes people feel so good about themselves. Because he's just like, yeah, I love you for you. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh, you did it? Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Shut the fuck up. You'll punch the fuck out of you until you love yourself. Luffy's the only nigga I know who will beat the shit out of you until you love yourself.
Yeah.
That's a real nigga right there.
That's
bro.
a real nigga right there. That's why he's one of my favorite
He'll make you cry until you love yourself. But bro, speaking of that, actually I didn't get to my MVPs.
Oh yeah.
My MVP for I don't know if I have MVP for, I guess my MVP for 1034 is Sanji. Because of literally the same reasons you said. But for 1035, I think I have two MVPs.
Okay. Interesting. Alright.
My first MVP is King.
Okay, I can respect it.
For a few reasons. One, my nigga King might be top 3 most attractive men in One Piece. Son, that nigga, I was expecting like, yo, you cover your face the whole time. I was like, yo, this nigga King a fucking model under that mask, bro. I thought he was gonna be like butt ugly. Like, there's a reason why he's wearing that gimp suit all the time.
He is.
My nigga King got the locks.
And he's black.
Facial structure going crazy.
Oh my
He's
god.
black. They made sure you knew too. It's like, yo, he got that dark skin.
He's brown skin. Yeah.
Yeah, he's melanin up.
He's got the melanin on him.
Strong jawline. I was like, yo, what's going on?
He got the bleached hair too. He a
tatted up
fashionista with the tats on his face, bro.
Stoic face, all that shit. And after losing the mask and shit like that, my man's delivered that line, bro. My Kaido will be king of the pirates. I will bring him there. That's why, like, when I started this podcast, I said Zoro versus King, Sanji versus Queen. That's the names of the chapters that we're going over now. The chapters of the wings of the Pirate King. I could be talking about Luffy. I could be talking about Kaido.
Yeah, it's either or.
It's this the fight of the wings of the Pirate King. Whoever's gonna be Pirate King, it comes down to the winners of the wings. And King is a hell of a wing.
King is one of the most compelling characters I've seen in a while in One Piece, and we don't even know that much about him.
We don't know much about him, but we know enough.
Yes.
I wouldn't say enough. We know enough to draw a lot.
That's a good way to put it, though. Yeah, like we know enough about him yet to be able to be emotionally invested in his story.
Yes.
And why he's loyal to Kaido.
We saw maybe like 1 page worth of a flashback from King. And that 1 page, we saw enough to draw so many parallels to extrapolate an entire story out of that. From seeing this whole story between, you know what I mean, the original two, Zoro and Luffy. The flashback between Kaido and King is very, very reminiscent of the meeting between Zoro and Luffy. Almost like panel for panel, kind of, sort of.
Really? I don't remember. Is that what happened?
When Luffy met Zoro?
Because Zoro, I know he was like a bounty hunter, right?
Zoro was tied up, about to be executed. Luffy met him with that same fucking... And I'm gonna get into this too, because my second MVP for 1035 is Kaido himself. There's a lot to get into with what we saw about the flashback from Kaido. But the whole interaction between Kaido and King. Kaido saw King in trouble, pretty much throwing his life away. He's a captive to literally the government, actually, same as Zoro.
Oh,
and
true,
pretty much whole life is thrown away, tortured, all that. Here comes this relatively unknown guy with a lot of latent power and a fucking upbeat attitude.
Yes.
That a smile that looks like it can't be broken. And says, yo, I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna make you my first mate. And I'm gonna make you one of the strongest people in this whole verse. And I'm gonna take you on my journey. And I'm gonna make you happy, bro. I'm gonna make you into what you're supposed to be. Which is exactly what Luffy said to Zoro. And Zoro's looking like, all right, man, whatever.
Yeah.
And then until Luffy proved himself. And the same thing happened with Kaido and King. And Kaido was like, yo, I have all the confidence that you're gonna follow me to great places. And King's like, all right, nigga, just let me down.
Yeah, just get me out of here.
And he proved himself to them to the point where we're here in present day, and King is like, yo, my guy Kaido will be king of the pirates, which is we heard Zoro say all the time.
Yeah.
That flashback parallel to like now, seeing like how King is riding for his nigga Kaido, the way Zoro rides for his nigga Luffy, we can see everything that happened in between those 2 points, because we know where those 2 points were in Luffy and Zoro's relationship.
It's kind of tragic in a sense. If you really think about it, it's really kind of tragic in a sense.
Because we see where Kaido is now.
And it's like Kaido, he lost his way a little bit, in my opinion at least.
Bro.
Because back then, from the flashback, it seemed like he was on Luffy's journey where he was like, I want to be the pirate king, like you were saying. Like, I want to be the best. I want my crew to be behind me. I want my crew to be the best. But nowadays, it's like Kaido...
What happened?
Yeah.
He never has a smile anymore. He's literally trying to kill himself every day.
He's literally trying to kill himself.
Literally drinking himself to death. There's no meaning in anything anymore. He's literally just trying to kill himself every day. Like, that's the thing that makes this flashback so impactful, even though it's the shortest flashback. It's like, whoa. That is reminiscent of Roger right there. That's reminiscent of Luffy right there.
Yeah.
He has that smile. He has that nothing can stop me attitude that we've seen in our favorite Rubber Boy MC. What happened between then and now? But if you go back to when Kaido first knocked Luffy off the island, and he looked down and not disgust, but like in dismissal, was like, you're not Joy Boy either.
Oh.
I think we can shut it from that. It's like, yo, Kaido is so far down the line where now we're seeing kind of what happens to the people who start this journey, like Luffy and Roger, who in their head have already failed in their dreams. So now Kaido's at the point where like, yo, if I'm not Joy Boy, and he's come to terms with like, yo, I'm not Joy Boy. You're not Joy Boy either. We're not. Nobody is. None of you guys are. Maybe might even fucking exist. Kaido's at a point now where he lost hope in that dream, and now everything is fucking meaningless. And now he's at the point where he's just drinking to feel anything, and just killing him and trying to kill himself because he's failed in his dream. Even though his own wings haven't given up on him, his whole crew hasn't given up on him because he's still strong. But Kaido, I guess, has got to the point where strength isn't enough, and he doesn't know what he's missing. He just knows that he's failed. I think this is the biggest thing out of this chapter, actually. It shines such a light on what fucking changed with Kaido. There's a lot from this flashback. Kaido and King were both captives of the world government, and both were being tortured and had tests ran on them. And it looks like both of them or Kaido himself was escaping and took King with him.
Yes. Oh, really? I didn't know Kaido was part of the world government, or not part of, but he was captive of it?
Yeah, if you see that panel, Kaido's also in chains that's broken. And he mentions something along those lines of both of them, which has me, if I'm piecing this timeline together, this is still very young Kaido.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this takes place, this is before Kaido, this is actually the making of Kaido's crew. I assume King's his first crewmate. So I'm assuming this is just after the God Valley incident, where the Rocks pirates are beaten, and I assume they took Kaido captive.
Whitebeard's pirates, right? Whitebeard and Mama and all that.
Rocks. Yeah, Rocks pirates with Whitebeard, Big Mom, Golden Shiki, Kaido. I think there's someone else.
Okay.
And I assume this is right after they were beaten, and I guess they took Kaido captive, and while Kaido was captive, they had the last living Lunarian there, and they were running tests on both of them.
Which is crazy to me, because like you were saying, yeah, he's basically a Luffy parallel. Like, I think Kaido is actually a Luffy, like you were, because yeah, like we've been talking about this, but it's crazy to me because like one of the first things he said to him was, "Your name, what was his name? Like Abel or something?"
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Albert.
Albert, and he was like, "No, your name's not Albert. Your name's King.
Dog, come on.
Your name's fucking King. You're a king, bro. You're in my
talk
crew."
About uplifting.
Like straight up, dude. If somebody said that to me, are you kidding me?
First meeting.
First fucking meeting. Saved you from chains, saved you from the government. He said, yeah, we lost this battle. I got locked up in chains, but that's not gonna make me give up. I'm not gonna lose hope.
Not even. Yes. Like, bro, that's Luffy.
That's Luffy right there.
And you're not gonna lose hope either. Like, the king didn't even show signs of like self-doubt or like low self-worth or like that.
Yeah.
And Kaido's like, yo, I'm dipping in his blood immediately. You are a king.
You're my king.
Come on.
I don't even.
You're a king.
He doesn't even know how he fights. He doesn't even know how strong he is.
Nothing.
He's just like, dude, like, you're my guy.
I believe in you.
I believe in you straight
That's
up.
Luffy shit. Come join my crew.
I didn't think Oda was gonna get that deep into it. Like how the pirate life is. Like so we've been following Luffy the whole story. Like that's the protagonist. But like I didn't think Oda was gonna actually get that deep into, because we've seen Doflamingo, how he got corrupted. We've seen, Big Mom, how she got corrupted. But I didn't think we would actually get like a parallel to how Luffy could get corrupted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially out of Kaido, because like going into Wano, even though we've seen like deep flashbacks on pretty much everybody, it seemed like Kaido was going to be presented as like, bro, like everything about me is straightforward. I'm just the strongest nigga here. That's it. I don't really care about none of that sentimental shit. We kill who we want. We beat the fuck out of who we want. We take who we want. That's just what the fuck we are. It didn't seem like we're gonna see that much depth into Kaido. But low key, this might be the most dynamic out of like villains that we've seen.
I would say so.
Because he started off literally as a Luffy.
Literally as
I got
Luffy.
big dreams.
I got big dreams. I'm the pirate. Not even I'm gonna be just. I am the pirate king. Like I'm gonna be the pirate king, and you're gonna be my crewmate. Yeah. And it's like we see him devolve, and it's like I think we see that with his son too, Yamato. We see that with how he treats Yamato, and it's like it's just so far removed from anything that like past Kaido would have. I'm inferring, I don't know, because we only got a couple panels of past Kaido, but like I feel like past Kaido would have never in his life have done what current Kaido did to Yamato. Never in his life. I don't think he would have ever done that.
But I think it gives context to kind of why. Because like Kaido is somebody who we don't know what happened to change Kaido from where we see him in the flashback to now. We know, we see like you said before, Kaido obviously has stumbled in a pretty significant way after losing God Valley, being captured, and didn't falter in his confidence or his vision and the person he was gonna be like at all.
Yeah. If anything, it made him stronger.
Yeah. His vision didn't waver at all, and now we see him here. He's completely accepted failure and wants to die. And he has his son who like he sees all of this hope in, which he had himself. His son's like, yo, I'm gonna leave Wano, I'm gonna be Odin, I'm gonna live this life, I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna do all these fucking things, and I have all this hope. And Kaido's like, yo, this world is gonna beat the hope out of you, and it's gonna be fucking painful. So Kaido's like, yo, I'm gonna beat the hope out of you before the world does.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, no, you're not gonna do any of this shit, because he knows how painful it is to fail in that and to lose that hope. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna like maybe toughen you up for this world and beat the hope out of you before you go out there by yourself thinking that you can have hope and not lose that shit.
He didn't want to give Yamato the chance though. Like he didn't want to give him the chance.
Yeah, which is what you see in parents who get hurt like that. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna have my son do that. I'm gonna toughen him up and beat the hope out of him before he goes to where I did.
And then you can live life as like a surrogate me, because I don't want you to experience that disappointment like you were saying. Like I don't want you to live through that because it was too painful.
Kind of suicidal.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder like what I kind of hope we see like what happened, because it's such a drastic change for a character to make after what we've seen. I think we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see that in the final battle with him and Luffy. I think we're gonna see like what actually changed Kaido to be such a tyrant, such a miserable, not even a terrible person, but just a miserable person. Like, because that's the picture that I'm getting. Because yeah, he's a terrible person for sure, but like I'm just getting like like you're saying, like we're talking about, like not because he had those values growing up or because that's who he wants to be, but it's just like the world made him into a miserable and terrible person, and that's the only role he sees for himself now.
That's the only role he sees for himself. Bro, I think we're set up to have possibly one of the most impactful Talk No Jutsu moments in the series. No, bro, follow me. Because, like, now we see all these parallels from this one fucking page flashback. All these parallels between Kaido and Luffy, which we never thought we were going to see, but strong parallels between Kaido and Luffy.
Yeah,
we're
never.
like, yeah, Kaido's whole bring up was like young Luffy, or maybe kind of where Luffy is now. But if Luffy can talk to Kaido and actually get to him, and if we fucking get an I Wanna Live moment from Kaido, the suicidal guy from
God.
Dog, I will cry all over this place. If we get Kaido to scream, I wanna live, the guy's trying to kill himself for years, who lost hope a long fucking time ago, dog, it's over. One Piece is the GOAT.
That's why Oda was saying this is bigger than the war.
Yes. Yeah, that would be bigger.
Because we're getting actual depth to the... not that we haven't before, for sure. Not that we haven't before, but
not
like...
just fights.
Yeah, not just like we're getting depth to the Yonkos to where we can actually see, we can relate it to Luffy in a way. Because Big Mom and Doflamingo, like I can't relate those to Luffy. I really can't. Like I really can't.
Too different of a standpoint.
Yeah, but like with Kaido, I think that's why he was saying like we're actually getting to the meat and potatoes, because we can actually see what it means to, if you want to be a Pirate King, like what that actually means and what you actually have to. It's kind of a parallel to life in a way, if you think about it. Like just our life, our regular lives. It's like you want to be something in life and you end up being, you know, I'm 25. You end up being 25, whatever age you are, and you're like, you look back and you're like, what happened? You know? Like, what the fuck happened? And it's a way to see that, like, you don't have to accept that.
You don't have to accept that.
You don't have to accept that. You don't have to identify with that. But if you choose to, you can end up like Kaido. You can end up miserable. You can end up wanting to kill yourself, like real deep stuff. Like you can end up really wanting to hate your life. Even if there's people like King and Queen who believe in you the most, they believe in you. They're like, yeah, this is going to be the fucking Pirate King. This is going to be that guy. This is my guy.
But he himself lost that belief.
Exactly. This is so deep, Oda. What the fuck?
I'm not parallels with Luffy, but we're just talking about the other person who's going through that kind of turning point in his life, that fork in the road in his life, in Sanji, who can also he's currently in the middle of like, yo, he could easily get buried with all this shit.
Oh, easily.
But like the thing about it is, like, yo, if you're still living, you can still push forward. You don't have to get buried by what's happened to you already.
Yes, you don't have, and it's okay if you don't accept, you know, if you don't accept what your past is. It's okay. It's okay, because you will have time to. Time will teach you that you have to accept it, and I think that's what we're seeing with Sanji. Is like time is going to teach him that, like his own body. This is kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get a little deep. I'm gonna get a little deep with Sanji real quick since you brought it up. So trauma, right? Trauma is stored in the body. It's not stored in the mind. It's stored in the body. So Sanji, literally his body changed against his will because that's where his trauma is stored. And Oda, that's literally a way of Oda saying like, yes, you can try to run away from it, but like it's not going to run away from you because it's stored in who you are as a person. You have to accept that, and you have to be willing to move forward with it. Yes. Move forward with it.
You have to, or it will bury you.
It will. Like that's what happened with Kaido, I think. Kaido his trauma is stored in his immortality, I think. His trauma is his immortality. And he doesn't want to accept it at all. He doesn't want to move it. He doesn't want to change with it. He doesn't want to accept it, I think, is the main thing. And that's why he's struggling with it so much, is that he's like, I just want to kill myself, rather than trying to understand who he is and what he went through. He's just like, I'm done with it.
And what he can do with what he is.
Yes, like immortality. That's a great gift. You could be the fucking Pirate King with that shit. Are you kidding me? Immortality?
You could change the world with that shit.
And you don't want to accept that, dude? You want to kill yourself?
He was once at a place where, again, it's flashback. He was once at a place where he wanted to use his power to help people. Which is what he did with King. With help people he saw needed help, which is what Luffy consistently does. Kaido was at a place where, I don't know if he was over there like saving like islands and shit like Luffy is, but like he sees somebody who needs help. He doesn't necessarily see somebody who can't help him. He doesn't know what King can do. King's just a kid strapped to a table.
He had no idea.
He sees someone needs help, and he gets him out of chains and he uplifts them immediately. Luffy shit.
Luffy fucking shit.
And somewhere in Kaido he has that, and somewhere he lost that. But that in its own is kind of the whole thing that pushes Luffy forward. That's the whole thing that makes Luffy's existence completely bearable to him, even though he's been through so much pain. That's the shit that Kaido's missing that could make his whole existence bearable. It's like he has a lot of power, and he just lost the will to use that.
I think, and one of the things I think this is a dark reflection of is Ace's death. I think it's a reflection of what could have happened with Luffy if he didn't go the right way after Ace died. Like, if Luffy went the other direction, I think he could have become really like so Kaido's pirate crew, just even the way their crews are structured, like Luffy's crew is just his friends,
right?
Just people, but Kaido's crew is strength. Kaido, he gave up on friend somewhere along the line, and he was like, strength. Whoever's the strongest can be next to me. So it's like,
right, exactly.
It's really, because Whitebeard wasn't like that at all. Whitebeard,
no, family is that's opposite.
Whitebeard wasn't like that at all. He was basically like an older Luffy who just happened to not be able to reach his goal because Roger was there.
Right. In a strange way, even though she's wildly twisted and a bad person for so many different reasons, Big Mom isn't that way. Yeah. Big Mom still has value in who's in her crew. Big Mom still has a vision for what she wants, and she's still pushing forward to that. Kaido lost his vision. Kaido lost meaning in his crew. That's why he's like, yo, whoever's strongest, you can join now. At some point, he was helping people who actually saw something in, stuff like that, but he lost that. He was like, all right, whoever's strongest. Big Mom doesn't have that. Big Mom still, like, she wants an oasis where all the species can, like, live together under one family. She at least has that, no matter how twisted. I mean, she kills her own people when she's like, no, she's twisted. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. See, in a lot of ways, she's worse than Kaido, but at least she still has something she's working towards.
She wants unification of all the races,
which is somewhat noble.
It is noble. She's really throwing that shit up for anybody. I'm gonna give this shit up. Hey, yo, shout out Big Mom. Shout out Big Mom for real.
Shout out Big Mom.
She be fucking with black dudes. I know she be fucking with black dudes. Get the fuck out of here.
She be fucking with all the races.
She be fucking with any race.
literally, all of y'all. I will have your baby. Especially if you're a minority. The more minority you are, the more I want to fuck. Oh, that's what it is.
I know she got a Tinder. I know she got a Tinder of the fucking One Piece Kingdom, whatever the One Piece Kingdom Tinder
nigga,
is.
what? That Tinder, you have no choice but to swipe right. There's no swipe. Yeah. If you sign up for that Tinder, you matched. Ain't no other options either.
She not on Bumble. No, she not on Hinge.
Yeah, you in this familiar.
You gonna fuck me, nigga. You gonna fuck me, nigga.
Dog, now that I think about it, now that you say that, I think this whole thing with Kaido is the underlining meaning under everybody's arc in One Piece. It's like, yo, you go through shit, but like the main goal is figuring out how to move forward. With fucking Chopper lost hope when he was ostracized from his own species and the humans, and he was like, yo, there's nobody, I'm not accepted anywhere. I'm just a useless little whatever. You guys don't want me. I understand, like, this strange fucking rubber person came and helped me, and that touched the fuck out of me, but you guys still don't like want me. And Luffy's like, yo, shut the fuck up and get on my ship. Like, there's still reason for you to move forward. There's reasons for you to move forward. Robin, I want to live. Robin gave up on her life too. Robin, just like a lot like Kaido, was like, yo, there's no meaning in this shit. I'm just gonna, like, you know what I mean, coast through this shit and coast with whoever can use my powers for whatever, and just jump from meaningless shit to meaningless shit. Well, Luffy's like, yo, no. Find meaning in your life. It's there. Find that shit. Move forward. Fucking Bellamy, even though, like, when you first met him,
oh, he was a piece of shit.
A weird straight. He was a piece of shit, but he did have a twisted sense of hope towards something.
Yes.
It was twisted. It was delusional. It was surrounded by putting down other people's hope. Even as ironic as that was, his hope was connected to putting down other people's.
But you could even say that with Luffy. Being the Pirate King means someone else is not going to be the Pirate King. So you could even say that with Luffy, I feel like.
But it does, but it doesn't mean...
That's not his intent.
It's not centered around putting down other people's dreams of being Pirate King. That makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Like, Bellamy's was all centered around putting down other people's shit, but he still had his sense of whatever until he ran into Doflamingo, who would just beat that shit out of him. Yeah. And then that's when he went through his thing. But Luffy was like, no, you don't have to do this. You can still live for you. Because I think Bellamy is gonna low-key be a very, very important centerpiece. Even if he doesn't have like a key thing to do with the whole arc to be King of the Pirates, his arc will have a lot to do with the underlying whole biggest theme of One Piece.
Yeah.
Then we haven't seen the end of it yet because we still ended with him fighting against Luffy and still not necessarily having grasp with creating his own destiny and living for him. But the whole figuring out how to live for you is an underlying thing for I think every single character in One Piece. We're seeing that with Sanji. We saw that with Chopper. We saw that with Robin. We're seeing that with Usopp. I think that's like going on for everybody, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and like to build on that, like I think it's not necessarily just figuring out how to live for you. I think it's having people, well, just an addendum to that, like having people who will support you, because like as much as you want to do it yourself, we're humans, we're social creatures. Like we can't, very rarely, it's only like very rare people who can just do shit by themselves. Like you really actually have to have other people who are gonna be able to support you, because that's just how we're built. So it's like Luffy is one of the rare people who can do it by himself, even though he does need help. But I would say less so than other people. I would say less so. He's less motivated by other people. He's like a motivator. He helps people realize. But
who knows? Like you said before, when Luffy faces his major crossroads, the Ace died. Who knows what direction Luffy would have went if he didn't have Jinbei there right then, or if he didn't have Rayleigh.
Exactly.
If he didn't have to bring it together for the sake of the rest of his crew,
he would have been lost.
If he didn't have Rayleigh there to shake him into say whatever, be like, yo, you have to get it back together. If he didn't have like Law to pull him out of there, like everybody has to rely on people.
Okay, yeah.
Which is like we're saying now, what we're seeing with where Kaido has that support system. He's kind of like too far into himself to really like, I guess, lean on them, which he can because he has his wings. He has Queen and Jack and King who have ultimate faith in him.
They care about him.
He's refusing to lean on, but he's still like into whatever's going on with him, where he's not leaning on them and kind of taking advantage of that. But he has it right there.
He has a son, a literal.
He has a son.
He has a
literal son. Yes, who he can support. Who needs his support?
Like it's so interesting seeing that, because it's like you see Kaido lost his way, and then his son is like, "You're not my father figure. Like you're not even my father figure. Odin is my father figure. Someone who actually cares about other people. Someone who leans on other people is my father figure, because you didn't care about me.
Someone who used to have the attributes that you used to have.
Yes.
Someone who has the attributes that you used to have.
Yes.
Someone who has the hope and vision to move out of what he was that you used to have.
That's who I actually want to be like. That's who I want to grow up to be.
Fuck, and that's going right over Kaido's head.
He doesn't even get it, and I hope he gets it. I hope Luffy is able to beat that into him. I really hope Luffy is able to beat that into him. It might not even be it might be Luffy and Yamato, whatever combination, whatever. I just hope they can get that through the
that would be amazing. And that, oh my gosh, there's such an opportunity here. That would be amazing. That would put it above Marineford for me. If oh my gosh, there's such an opportunity here for like a huge Titan Juicing moment.
Something that started off as a gag, like, oh, this guy he just wants to kill himself, ha 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 ha. Oh, so funny. Something that just started off as something silly, like it's like, no, like actually, like human beings end up like this. Like this is actually how human beings end up. Like
no, this isn't how it always was.
This is not how he grew up. This is not who
a journey led
he
to
wanted to be. I guarantee he didn't want to be like this. Like based off of the panels that we were talking about, like he did not want to end up like this. And King and Queen, I guarantee, don't want to seem like this, but they're just at a point where it's like, that's my captain, my captain, and I'm gonna support him whatever he chooses to do, because they have so much loyalty. But it's like when you get like that with one of your close friends, and you're like, I don't want to see you like this, but I'm gonna support you because you're my friend. So it's like,
and I'm gonna keep my upbeat attitude to maybe keep you up.
Yes,
because like, oh my gosh, just this gives me more appreciation of, and I want to see more of flashback now. And that's all this little King flashback. I want to see more about when Queen met Kaido.
Yeah,
because Queen keeps that shit up fucking beat.
Queen,
no matter how depressed Kaido is, Queen is the life of the Beast Pirates party. He keeps the shit up. That shit would be a lot more depressing if Queen wasn't there.
Oh my god, Queen is the funnest dude. I would love to have a drink with Queen.
MVP,
straight up.
MVP Queen.
If Queen wasn't a fucking psychopath, I would love to have a drink with Queen.
Keep that shit funky.
Yeah.
Maybe she's youth too, because like the calamities are still like they're in that part of their life where they still, you know what I mean, have that youth that Kaido had before, where the shit wasn't taken from them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like Kaido need, again, man, like you said, you need just that support system. You need that.
You need it. Everybody.
Kaido needs to see that. Kaido needs his eyes opened. And who else to open Kaido's eyes than the ultimate eye opener?
Fucking
Monkey D.
Monkey
Luffy.
D. Luffy. It's not.
Who opens eyes more than Monkey D. Luffy?
It's not even about the D. It's not even about the monkey. It's just Luffy. Willa D.
It's just Luffy.
Forget Willa D. I don't care about the Willa D. It's Luffy, dude. Nobody else is like Luffy, dude. Nobody else. Nobody else.
Luffy's
is
been
like
that nigga since before he even had the straw hat.
Since before
That's been
he
him.
had the straw.
Before even the straw hat.
And it was really Shanks, if you think about it, who really gave it to him. So like you were saying, I guess Luffy has always had people who supported him, who made him who he is. And it's Shanks. It was like, well, it wasn't even Shanks. It was Roger who made Shanks how Shanks is. And then Shanks helped Luffy be how he is. And then now maybe
this speaks to the passing of the straw hat and the passing of like the Will of D and stuff like that. It's the passing of that mentality. Everybody with Will of D dies with a smile on their face.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
For a reason. It's the will of D. People put a lot of emphasis on the D part. That the emphasis on the will
it's
part.
The will, yeah.
You got the will to push through that shit. The will to die with a smile on your face.
The will to help others around you, even if it's not at the benefit of yourself. That's what the Will of D is about, I think.
Yes, and to find fulfillment in that, even if you don't reach your thing.
Yes.
Roger reached the end of his journey, got to Raftel, and said, "Oh shit, we're too early," and laughed.
And he laughed.
My whole journey was meaningless. We got here. It's like, oh, turns out we're too early. Laughed. Died. Said, hey, you guys go search for that shit too. And died with a smile on his face. Even though oh my god, he failed too. At the end of the day, Roger, he was known as the king of the pirates. But he got the turtle. Technically, he failed too. He didn't end up like Kaido.
He did, but he didn't.
Which means he won.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
That's why he won.
Because he didn't lose himself in the process of it.
Yes. Because he saw what was really important during that process. Which Kaido is not seeing that he has that.
And that's why he'll never be king of the pirates. Even though he could have.
That's why he'll never be happy.
Which is what I think.
Even though he has all the time to.
I think the analog for being a king of the pirate is, I think it's not even about being a king of anything. It's just about being, it's like a self-fulfillment journey.
Yeah, it's the journey.
It's just the journey, and it's like Luffy is gonna reach that because he has that, like you're saying, the Will of D and everything that means, and he has the drive to always look in himself
and his people is with him.
The people that's with him, and he doesn't think too much.
No, he lives.
Which is so important.
Feels.
Yeah, he lives and he feels everything, and I think that's what helped him get past Ace's death too, is that he felt it. He really lived it, and he felt it. He didn't think about, oh, what does this mean for me? What is this? I mean, he did, of course, but he had people help him through that. But like Kaido, if Kaido went through that, where would Kaido have gone? You know what I mean? If he had something, which is what we're seeing now, I think. So,
man, I love what this is set up for. I love what this is set up to be.
This is a great arc, dude. Now that we talked about it.
Unexpectedly deep.
Unexpected.
I didn't expect that. I expected the next Marineford, which Marineford had his, like, don't get me wrong, Marineford had his deep moments, but it was mostly just like action, big war.
Yeah, there was only really one big emotional moment. Well, there was two, Robin and Ace. But like, other than that, like, I mean, there was never really a look into Luffy's character and what it actually, why Luffy is the guy who lives life, why Luffy is the guy who motivates people.
Yeah.
Why Luffy is who he is and why other people are different from him. There was some of that, but there wasn't all of that. Like this arc, I feel like we're getting all of that.
Yeah, and himself will be forced to, like, I guess, think that through with seeing the mirror image of what happens on the other side of that, which is Kaido.
Which is fucking Kaido.
Luffy can't become Kaido.
No.
Luffy can't let himself become Kaido.
He can't, and he won't. There's no way in hell he will. No way in hell he will.
What a great series. We
say this every podcast, but Goda is
Goda.
He's goated.
Come on. How great is that? Look at us. Who would have thought?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, but man, I gotta pee, man. Let's wrap this up, bro.
Yeah, man. Great. The last chapter of the year. What is way to send off? We didn't even really talk about the actual, like, these are the last two chapters were mainly action chapters. Stuck with none of the action in it. But because Zoro did do some crazy shit, but fuck it. Hey, fuck it, man.
We talked about what the action means.
We talked about the depth under.
Yes. Yes.
Great things to come in 2022.
Yeah, it's One Piece is one of the rare series that gets better and better as it ages, which is very, very rare.
Man, how much has it aged? That shit started in the 90s. The anime started in the 90s. Not even just the manga. The anime started in the 90s.
Didn't it start in like 91 or something? Or no, 95, right? The
I think like it might be literally as old as I am. 95 or 96, something like that. The anime. It's about to be 2022.
Jeez.
Still going strong. Better than ever.
Better than ever. Older than me.
Goda, dog. Goda. Nobody else. No, literally nobody else.
Nobody else, man. My Hero? Forget My Hero. We're talking about One Piece,
man. Right, and it's a baby. My Hero's in the East Blue. Not the East Blue, but you know what the fuck I mean. Grand Line, baby.
That is we haven't even gotten to the filler arc. Or not the filler, the time skip, My Hero. That's how much of a baby.
No. Yeah. Damn. Great series, man. Gotta appreciate One Piece while it's here. As always, we love the fuck out of you guys. We will see you guys when it is 2022. Love you. Peace.